2, 1, go!
The search for America's top lumberjack starts here. 24 of the United States top choppers and sawyers begin their journey, each hoping to be crowned best in the land. Today, 8 of those athletes battle for their competition lives, looking to advance to the finals. The semifinals of the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS US Championship starts now.
This is what we call hardcore blue-collar toughness.
One and all. We're about to get started with the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS US Championships for 2025. Pool A is just moments away, and right now let's bring out the guy who's going to take us through all of it. A legendary athlete in lumberjack sports, known the world over, fans the world over. He's the best voice for our sport that we love so much. Let's bring him out now, Super Dave Jewett.
That snuck up. Are we live? That snuck up on me. Here we go again. You know, when we left this place last year, everybody said, are we going back? Are we going back? We are back. STIHL TIMBERSPORTS, back Milwaukee German Fest, the 45th year of one of the biggest German fests in the country. And what a better place. Couldn't find a better place to celebrate STIHL TIMBERSPORTS 40th year. My name is Super Dave Jewett. I got that nickname for the 25 years I competed in STIHL TIMBERSPORTS. Damn right. And anyway, I'm going to be announcing all weekend. It's going to be incredible. We've got men's Pool A coming up. We've got the Women's National Championship starting at 8 o'clock tomorrow, kicking it off at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Pool B and C, and then, of course, the men's finals at 2 o'clock on Sunday, and it's going to be a lot of announcing. Fortunately, I have some help. One of the best announcers in the world. He's been back there drinking Red Bull for the last 2 hours, so be ready. Here he comes, Dave Johns.
All right, Milwaukee, who's ready to see men's Pool A? That ain't good enough. Who's ready to see men's Pool A? We got a t-shirt cannon this year. I think they're set, ready to go, Dave. Let's do this.
I told them to buckle up and be ready for you. Well, let's thank our sponsors, though, before we move forward. John Deere and STIHL, thank you so much for sponsoring Timber Sports again. And let's not forget about our 2 friends up there. Kevin Holtz, he was in Timber Sports. He's broken crosscut world records. And the golden voice of Tommy Sanders.
Thank you so much, Dave Jewett. Kevin, you know, the math here is very easy. It's 8 competitors today, only 4 spots in the finals for tomorrow. So we got favorites, as we do every year, and we also got some others to watch. Why don't you give us a little bit of both?
Yeah, well, the favorite is so obvious. I mean, it screams off the paper. Everybody's going to be watching Nate Hodges. Nate Hodges, our 2024 world champion, our 2024 U.S. national champion. What blows my mind is Nate Hodges doesn't do anything the way we think it ought to be done. He's choked up on the axe. He is short stroking with a single buck, but he is so powerful. He is so determined, and he is so savvy with these disciplines. He is obviously a force to be reckoned with. Of course, we're going to be watching guys like Josh Wilson. He has just shown remarkable growth on the trophy events, and that is going to translate very well here to the main STIHL TIMBERSPORTS stage. In addition, here is one of the young guns, a rookie, originally out of New York and now out of Michigan, Dakota Robarge. I used to go head-to-head with his dad while this kid was getting frogs out of the mud puddles. He came on as a rookie. He's got his mom's gray matter between the ears, very calm, cool, collected, and of course we always love watching Trevor Beaudry. It seems like every year there's just a little something that doesn't come together, but he could absolutely put it together this year and be on the podium.
All right, good stuff, Kevin. Can't wait for it to get started. Super Dave, we're going to throw it back to you and meet our athletes.
Thanks, Tommy. We have 8 athletes ready to go. Dave Johns, take it away, bud.
All right, first up, his first time here in Milwaukee on the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS Series stage. Let's hear it from Seymour, Tennessee, Tristan Van Beek.
And from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, the veteran Mike Esch.
From Bedford, Pennsylvania, Zach Brous.
And from the East Coast, from Barnet, Vermont, Calvin Willard.
From Morgantown, West Virginia, let's hear it for Josh Wilson.
And from Walpole, New Hampshire, Trevor Beaudry.
From Sheboygan, Michigan, let's hear it for Dakota Ruborg.
And from North Fork, California, he won the national title last year, and he took it one step farther. He brought the world title back to the United States. Your current world champion, Nate Hodges. And we have to bring out the two gentlemen that seem to always get heckled here in Milwaukee. Our head judges, Rich Hallett and Chris Alba.
All right, one big final applause for all of our athletes. Men's Pool A.
Springboard. Springboard simulates the traditional way of felling trees, climbing up over thick roots. First, notches known as pockets are chopped into the log. Two springboards are then anchored into these pockets. The athlete then climbs up to chop through a 27-centimeter thick block of wood in the fastest time possible.
Heat number one of the Springboard. The new man on the block, Tristan Van Beek, and his opponent, Mike Esch. Boy, Davey, Tristan Van Beek, just talking to him, he actually broke the Springboard one-board world record as a rookie. Went on to break a national record as well, so this guy's so strong in this Springboard event. Here come the boards right now. Because why not put the most difficult event first, Dave?
Man, this is the one that you'd think, first time on the stage, you got those nerves already, and then you got to climb 9 feet up these tulip poplar poles. That has got to be the absolute craziest start to a competition. I never got to do it, Dave. I know that you had 25 years of doing in this event. What would be going through your head right now as a young 19-year-old heading onto the stage for your first time?
Well, getting ready to get it started here. This will be our first look, Kevin, at Tristan Van Beek, his first go-round in these U.S. Championships here. He's got a good collegiate record, rookie record here with the STIHL organization. And he'll be going up against a man with 33 years of competitive experience. That would be Mike Esch of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Mike Esch, been there, done that. He's got the scars and the stories to prove it. Mike Esch, an experienced axe maker and one of the best technicians out there. And some even make the argument, and they say, you know, he's a little bit too technical. Sometimes you just got to let it fly.
There he is, Tristan Van Beek on the left facing the stage. And again, in the rookie division, Dave, it didn't take him long. Breaking the world record in the one-board version. This is the two-board version. This guy's a speed climber. I watched him last week up in Hayward, Wisconsin, climbing 90 feet poles. So he just thrives above the hard deck.
Yeah, talking to him earlier, he was saying at 11 years old, he never thought he'd ever want to go up a 90-foot pole. And then literally 8 years later, there he was competing for his first time in Hayward. It was absolutely incredible. He's got to be jacked right up. But how about the wily vet, Mike Esch, over there on position 2? This dude, I know that he doesn't love the springboard, looking to survive it, but man, he is quick when he gets into the wood.
Yeah, Mike Esch, so calm. He grinds a lot of the axes the athletes are using here today. His best events are still to come. He doesn't need to win this. Just get some points.
All right, here we go. That's Van Beek.
Athletes ready.
Stand number 1.
Stand
Mike
to your
Esch
timber.
on stand number 2.
3, 2, 1, go!
So Van Beek did come to us off a single board world record. This should be rinse and repeat, but I tell you what, Tommy, you get your feet now 6 feet off the ground. Your head is about 12 feet off the ground. It's all that eyeball perspective. Mike Esch, again, been there, done that. Can cut clean pockets, can board well. Maybe isn't quite as quick as Van Beek, but he knows how to get the job done. Struggling on that second pocket, though, is Mike Esch. Van Beek drawing big chips of wood out of the front side of that log. Again, these guys are going to cut 80–90% of the way through the front side of the log and then turn to either switch hand cut, which it looks like Van Beek is going to do, one upward blow into downward blows, drawing some chips. He's got to reach around far. There it is. Tristan Van Beek, a 42.26, an unofficial time. Way to make a statement. First discipline out of the gate for Tristan Van Beek.
I guess just before turning around here, we will take care of the backside and we will be done with heat number 1.
There's Mike Esch, one more blow, maybe one more after that. Few fibers, I think he's a little bit low. There it is. Mike Esch finds the bottom of that block. Let's talk about Tristan Van Beek, though. What a statement for this young man, seated at the bottom of the pack in the springboard, and just put an exclamation point on the first discipline, first heat.
Both cuts are good.
There he is. There's the smile we've been looking for. Here you go, back up, let's get centered here. Tristan, you know, I love watching, and you can learn a lot about an athlete, how they're doing based on their facial expressions. It's calm, no panic expression, very economical. You just are so confident, but you come off and you're not even breathing heavy. Talk about this.
I guess you just try to practice enough to have good efficiency when you're cutting and hope that it all works out good. And when you start scrambling, that's when you start, you know, getting exhausted. So if it's smooth, it's easy.
Great job. You put your time in. You went down under. Who did you stay with down under? If you want to give a quick credit to them.
Yeah, I stayed with the Gurr family. Shout out Daniel Gurr, Matthew Gurr, and Joe Gurr. Love you guys. And also shout out to my sponsor, AJ Kelly Axes. You're the man.
Thanks, Tristan. You go, Tristan Van Beek. Something tells me you're going to see him in the finals on Sunday.
Let's take a look at this run here from Tristan Van Beek. I love the word efficiency being thrown around out there, because in something like this springboard event, it is a long discipline. You got 2 different pockets you got to cut, and then you got to go to work at the block at the top. But wasted hits cost wasted seconds. And we're starting to get to a point in the springboard event where tenths of a second matter, not just seconds. Very clean boarding, very level, very sure-footed. And as Dave Jewett mentioned, excellent slope. That axe is being presented very well. You can see there's a little bit of tension in his hands, the way it kind of waffles down there, way up in the backside. No chance of doglegging that block. Finger in the air. Tristan Van Beek, great run in the opening heat. Heat number 1. I can't even imagine where we go from here.
Serving notice, what a career ahead for Tristan Van Beek. When we get the official results, we will pass that along to you.
We all expected this. Everyone knew, we knew Van Beek was going to get the call. We knew it years ago. But sometimes the athletes, they get pulled up to the big stage in Milwaukee and they get rattled. And we've seen it before, but Tristan Van Beek, he's been preparing for this. We've been preparing. But again, you know, the final heat of this is the man who broke the national record in the springboard. We're not going to say his name just yet, but this isn't over yet. Springboard's not done.
Official time there for Tristan Van Beek. A personal best, 42.
All right, Dave, while we're getting those trees set up, I got some swag over here, of course.
27.
not just personal best, so for Tristan Van Beek, that's also an SB season's best. This is the best we've seen so far this year. Got the feeling that it could potentially fall. We've got some amazing springboard cutters.
Why not?
But again, to have one of our frankly bottom-seeded athletes, he's joining us here at a very new level. Got himself a whole lot of training over the offseason, but a 42-second time in heat number 1 is just exceptional.
He's not an unknown quantity anymore. Obviously, this is not, as they say, his first trip to the pool hall.
No, indeed.
Heat number 2 on the springboard from Bedford, Pennsylvania, Zach Brous, and his opponent is Calvin Willard.
On stand number 1, that's Zach Brous. Zach Brous is a veteran of these US Championships. He has been here multiple times before, going up against Calvin Willard. Calvin Willard, pretty much a fixture here for the last several years. Axeman from Vermont.
Tommy, not to play favorites, but Calvin Willard, I went head-to-head with him many years, and I just want to see him just juggernaut in this springboard event. He is an exceptional standing block cutter. He's got to get the pockets to come together. He's got to board well. If you can get him to that block at the top, he has a great swing in the standing block. Love watching him cut standing blocks. Zach Brous, big-time single buck sawyer, very powerful chopper. This will be a good race.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Want to see nice, clean 4-hit, ideally pockets. Maybe they got to go to 6 hits. Zach's going to go a little bit deeper here. He's going to run 6 in. Calvin Willard, beautiful first board set. He gets up and jumps on it a little bit. Stop messing with that thing. It's a great board set. Get on that second pocket. Get that axe speed moving. Again, we got to get Calvin to that block at the top so we can cut that block at the top. Zach Brous goes to work on that second pocket, running it in a little bit deeper. We got about 8 hits into this, and we're still counting. There's Willard right around the 30-second mark, is into that block at the top. Something, though, is not jiving between the axe and the block. On the outside, that outer shell of that block, he had to rest that axe. You see him like wiggle the handle. Now he's into the guts of it. It's moving freer, but he's got to get that axe speed up. Brous is right on his heels. Very powerful chopper. Look at the slabs of wood coming down to the stage for Zach Brous.
Here goes Calvin.
Calvin around to the backside, a little bit more. Oh, he's got to reach just a little farther. There it is. Zach Brous very straight in now. It's hard to cut 90 degrees to that grain. He's drawing small chips into the guts of it. And now Zach's turned around. He's going to slash off the backside of this block. I think he's got quite a lot of wood there. He's got to get that near side cut. He's working that far. I don't know that near is done yet. He's still driving. There it is. So that near was done. Lot of wood to cut when you're standing the wrong way around, the uncomfortable way on that springboard, slashing down through, not drawing a chip.
And Dave, do you ever get goosebumps when you're so nervous for somebody? I just got goosebumps when Calvin's log split up top. That he was not going to get a time because that thing was going to slap down. It wasn't going to cut the complete log.
You know, it's situational awareness. And Calvin's a pro. He knew that block was severed. He knew it was breaking. He knew he had to use the blade to sever the block.
Both cuts are good.
Calvin loves interviews. Calvin, you know, we were talking about situational awareness. You knew the block was breaking up. You took some massive drivers in the front. The block split down the middle. Now, if that was to break off, I believe that would be a disqualification. You knew how to get that thing off with the blade of the axe. And that's something you sort of have to prepare for in case it happens, correct?
Yeah, sure, Dave. The block splitting is not ideal, but once it did, I had to kind of adapt a little bit. It took me a little longer to get it off on the backside than it should have. But I was just trying to make sure it wasn't going to fall off before I cut it off.
Good job, Calvin. Big steal points for the man from Vermont. Long drive for Calvin Willard.
Here's Calvin Willard going at that that's his second board hole. Super clean, and I love the kind of double bevel there. His opening drive has a little bit steeper, more vertical angle. Your third hit comes in a little bit flatter, and it creates that upper shelf, the top of that pocket, for that springboard clip or springboard shoe to bite into. There you get a great look too by his left hand where you can see that vertical crack in the block. It did want to separate on him. He kept it together. Good clean cut, solid time, Calvin Willard.
Yeah, he saved the last bit of that cut there to Calvin Willard. Was not able to get it sub 1 minute, but 1:02.34 puts him in second place. Zach Browse, his time, 1:29.78. That was also a personal best for Calvin Willard. So we have seen a lot of personal best here. Just a taste of what we have coming up from here in Milwaukee. Pool A competition. We'll be right back. Man, oh man, 40 years of STIHL Timber Sports. What a pleasure it is to be again here this year in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the 2025 STIHL Timber Sports US Championships. This is the first of 3 pools. Each pool contains 8 competitors. Only 4 will pass through the other side and make tomorrow's championship final. So great to be here with you and so glad you can stay with us. Just getting started here. Got 2 2 springboard heats under our belt now and getting ready for the final 2.
Heat 3 of the springboard chop from Morgantown, West Virginia, Josh Wilson, and his opponent from Walpole, New Hampshire. He's back, Trevor Beaudry. Hey, Trevor.
On block number 1 there, that's Josh Wilson, West Virginia. Veteran of these competitions here, personal best of 1:10. Might be able to better that. Trevor Beaudry, the school teacher from New Hampshire, has been steadily improving, getting a lot better results the last few years. He's been out here 4 or 5 years, but has done very well in trophy competition and many other places as well.
And both these guys have been right there in different ways, different things have tripped them up, but again, right there. This is the discipline that starts the day. This is the discipline that sets the pace. Unfortunately or fortunately, it's a complex, multifaceted discipline. So we're going to see both these guys kind of roll the dice for the first time.
Yeah, it looks hard because it really, really
Athletes
is.
ready.
Yes. Time to beat 42:08.
Timber. 3, 2, 1. Go!
I got to give advantage Beaudry in this event. I've seen him really come along super well in the springboard event, but Josh Wilson has just proven himself to be an endurance athlete, and this is, Beaudry with a very vertical board. We talk about not wanting to have a sagging board, but this is equally as bad. His body mechanics are all out of whack to cut that second pocket. That can set you up with a really odd second board set. He is up 26, 27 seconds, but he doesn't like that second board set. That first board being so vertical, it puts him in an odd body position. That second pocket, I bet if we looked at it, is actually listing high on the left, low on the right, and that sets him up with his toes low. Feels like he's gonna be falling off forward on that board. Josh Wilson has to go down and do some reconstructive surgery on that second pocket. He is setting the board. Looks like he is going to be set. Trevor Beaudry around to the backside, sub 1 minute. Can he do it? Can he stay under 1 minute? Got a lot of timber to shift with not a lot of time to do it.
Oh,
there it is,
almost.
101 showing
close
on that unofficial time. I tell you what, for that disastrous, epically disastrous first board, and I'm not telling Trevor anything he doesn't know already. He would say the same thing. Disastrous first board set. He recovered exceptionally well. And Tommy, I mentioned it in the show intro. I mentioned it at the start of this heat. There's just been something that has held Trevor Beaudry back. He's just needed a couple points here, a couple points there. He just saved himself those couple of points by sticking with this springboard chop.
Yeah, unofficially we have him in second place. We'll have those official times for you momentarily.
Each grab one more steel point, and it will come down to that Trevor Beaudry, I love the adjustment he made. That bottom board, not enough upslope on the bottom hit, not enough slight upslope, and the board will actually sit. Made the correction on the top pocket, cut off beautifully, maybe pinched a little. Let's hope we see him correct it in the finals.
Both cuts are good.
Come on over here. No, you're not leaving yet. You can't sneak away. Trevor, great job. I know you've been snake bitten on this stage before, just missing by a point. That's a great time in the Springboard. Sometimes it's your best event, sometimes not so much. A great cut today. Talk about it.
Yeah, so I've never really put up a great time in the Springboard. I was shooting for 55 seconds. I didn't quite get it, but that's still a good cut for me. Hopefully cut through today and get another crack at it. But beautiful tree, beautiful block on top. Just tried to make myself just keep moving, put some pace, and keep flowing, because we've got a pretty strong pool of Springboard cutters.
Yeah, your bottom board was sitting skyward. You made the adjustment on the top pocket. Talk about how fast you can say, hey, this is what I did wrong, let's correct it.
Yeah, so the bottom board, I actually opened too much wood, and I had to go 6 hits in it, and that got me deeper in the tree than I wanted, because I kind of hit a little harder on the ground. So I'm deeper in the tree, and then the pole was up, the board was up a little bit, so had to be a little ginger cutting the second one, because that's the one you do all your work on, and that one was perfect. I didn't trust it at first, but it was definitely trustable.
Great job. The time's coming in. We're going to look at the replay from Walpole, New Hampshire.
I'd like to talk to Trevor Beaudry about his use of the expression "a little bit." He said that board was up in the air a little bit. That's about a 40-degree angle, and as a Springboard cutter, former Springboard cutter, I can tell you that's an exceptionally uncomfortable position. It changes how you present that axe to the block on that second board set, but you heard Trevor wisely say, he said, you know, that second board, that's where you really got to do your work. He made sure he put the time and effort in there. Didn't trust it at first. You see him kind of going back with that back foot and applying a little pressure. It was a good board set, got the job done, and got through that block at the top. Here's the finish on the backside as he puts in his last downward blow. About a 101. He was hoping for a 55. It's there. It can happen. It can happen.
Official time of 1:01.6 for Trevor Beaudry. That is a personal best for him. Trevor made the finals last year, finished in 5th place, and he can do no worse in 4th in our first discipline, the Springboard.
And Tristan Van Beek on top of the pile with a 42.08 qualification day. Doesn't he know he's a rookie? He's supposed to have like a 4-minute time. Like everything's supposed to just fall apart.
Yeah, we're supposed to nurse him through that and pull him through.
Yeah, we'll talk to him after the show.
He was done before we looked up.
Tell him, good job, you can try again next year. But no, he's on top of the heap by a mile.
You gotta cheer! Squeaky wheel gets the grease! Squeaky wheel gets the grease! Absolutely! Absolutely! Oh man! Oh yeah! Team nicely here. There we go! There we go! We'll get one there! Absolutely! I know you'll win! Yeah!
Fourth and final heat of the Springboard Chop. Our top 2 ranked combatants from Sheboygan, Michigan, Dakota Robarge, and our current world champion, his opponent, Nate Hodges.
Final heat of the Springboard coming up right now. Dakota Robarge broke through, made the championship final last season. Going to be over here on stand number 1 and on stand number 2, the reigning U.S. champion, the reigning world champion, California's Nate Hodges.
we talk a lot about Nate Hodges, but I want to shift over to the other side of the stage with Dakota Robarge. What a feather in his cap after the performance he had here last year. He is seated with our world champion and world record holder in the Springboard event. They're like, when we're figuring out who's going to race against who, yeah, you can go with the best of the best.
Dakota Robarge makes his home in Sheboygan, not Wisconsin up the road here, but Sheboygan, Michigan.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber.
California.
3, 2, 1, go.
Watch the speed from both of these competitors as they just pound in this first springboard. Little trouble for Hodges. See a hesitation there. The sandbag that helps keep the springboard from sliding while you're cutting that pocket, he actually got hung up a little bit on the end of the board. New rule this year, they're not letting the competitors set nails in the pole to help support their springboard pole while they're chopping, while it's leaning against the tree. So I think Hodges is messing with that sandbag position. He got past that though. Beautiful board set for both these guys. Hodges was again chopping about 26 seconds on that second board, blistering pace through the log at the top. I tell you what,
Wow.
Tristan Van Beek. Tristan Van Beek may have won Pool A Springboard in his rookie season.
Unbelievable.
Dakota Robarge into the back. He's going to come out just past that. Oh, right around that 1 minute mark. That's not shabby.
Unofficially, now we give Dakota third place. I'd love to see the official time on Hodges. How it compares to Van Beek, but they did not let us down to the best springboarders in the world right there. If you remember a time where you cut just under a minute, you were winning the springboard in North America, and now look at what these guys have done. Well, it used to be, and it used to be records. It used to be records broken. Now you have to break old world records just to qualify to be in the top 5. They're always finding these microseconds to grab.
Both cuts are good.
And we'll get a quick word with Nate Hodges, just catching his breath here. Boy, Nate was out warming up. Are you good for a quick interview, bud? This is what happens when you're in the top 2. We're waiting to see you and Tristan Van Beek. We'll get you in the middle of the sponsors here, bud. Great cut again. Your debut here, you broke the national record. You don't have to prove that. You're looking to get points, to get to the finals. Everyone wants to see you run that hot saw. Talk about that run. Had a little trouble with the sandbag, something you addressed in the competitor meeting this morning. What's the purpose of the sandbag?
Well, Dave, still they've enforced a new rule. We're not allowed to use any nails or anything to pin our, pin our springboards down so they don't move around when you're putting your pockets in. And I've been kind of scratching my head how we're going to do it, and I kind of laid the sandbag over the back of the board, thinking it would just roll off, and it didn't. It wanted to join me up there. So,
well, a quick recovery. Don't think it's going to kill you getting into the final. We're pretty confident we're going to see you there, but you can make the adjustment in the final. We're going to let you catch your breath, buddy, get off stage. Hey, big round of applause to the man who always arrives in the springboard. And a long trip from California, Nate Hodges.
Dave, we're going to see this, and here we go.
Here's a great look at that first pocket. You can see the corner of that springboard just got hooked in that sandbag. Not a lightweight, but Hodges makes it look like a lightweight. Here he goes to work on that second board hole. There you see him clean out the ceiling of that thing. I don't like there he goes. He just picked it up. A little bit of debris in the back of the mailbox, some junk mail in there he should clean out, but it held. Got up to the top of this block. I know we're watching Nate Hodges. I know we're watching Dakota Robarge, but in my mind, I keep going back to Tristan Van Beek. What an epic performance from this rookie to have times right in there with the rest of these guys.
And there it is. You see, there's
Wow.
the finals for the springboard. Tristan Van Beek just barely less than a minute ahead of, less than a second ahead of Nate Hodges, as it stands right there. Nate Hodges, a time of 43.02. So Nate Hodges in second place. Not really expected it to go that way, but Tristan Van Beek, what an auspicious rookie debut here in the STIHL Timbersports US Championships 2005. It's a beautiful day on Lake Michigan, and we'll be ready for discipline number 2, the stock saw, in a moment. Watching the U.S. men's semifinals qualifying competition. The U.S. individual men's championships. That final will be held tomorrow. Very, very important action going on today in one of our 3 pools. This is Pool A, 8 competitors who have qualified and come here to Milwaukee, and only 4 of them are going to pass through to the other side. Next discipline coming up, and that is the stock saw.
Stock saw. After the starting shot, the contestants have to cut 2 wooden discs, so-called cookies, within a 10-centimeter mark, one downward and one upward. The attempt is only valid when both discs have been cut off completely and within the marks.
Talk about goosebumps. When I did the timber sports years for the 25 years I did it, I always went into survival mode with the stock saw. And you can't, just grabbing points. Those days are over. You have to attack this. You have to go for the win. You have to make. I mean, they're timing themselves. They're into the wood in just over a second. Josh Wilson, no reason to panic at all. He took last in the springboard, but here's an opportunity to fight back. And as soon as we get the go-ahead, we're going to bring the guys out. All right, they're saying go for heat 1. Let's bring him out. Your leader, his first time ever on the stage. This is Tristan Van Beek. And his opponent, Josh Wilson. And what an opportunity.
Well, our points leader, it's early going here in Pool A competition, but there he is. Tristan Van Beek, Montana native, makes his home in Tennessee, an unknown quantity as far as most of us know coming into this, but proved himself. Springboard chop, took top points there with a great time.
Warm up your saws.
Change. He's going up against Josh Wilson, West Virginia, University of West Virginia, collegiate competitor back in the day. His last trip to the finals was in 2023. Looking to get back in 25.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
There's no discipline in the STIHL Timbersports series more studied than the stock saw. Element by element, movement by movement. Oh, Tristan Van Beek was super quick through that first cut, but then he fans the restart for the upcut. Josh Wilson not waiting around. A 15-second, almost flat for Josh Wilson. That is not a blistering pace. I think this is a little bit of firm timber for these guys. But wow, Tristan Van Beek was very quick through to get to the bottom of that first cut, excuse me, but then that transition was rough.
Both cuts are good.
Josh, you mouthed to Tristan right there before the judge's call. That was hard. 15 seconds. Didn't look like you made a mistake in that. Talk to me what you were feeling there with that 661 steel chainsaw.
Yeah, I mean, the saw was running good, but that's been by far the hardest wood we've ever had on this stage. And hopefully it holds up, but I have no idea. I can't gauge it, to be honest with you.
Absolutely, buddy. I know it's got to be tough going from the springboard chop into the stock saw where you were visibly disappointed with yourself. Tell me how you collected your thoughts and got ready for this stock saw.
I've got 5 events to dig out of a hole. I have to forget about the tree, and I usually do, and it just is what it is. But yeah, it's just not how I wanted to start it off, so we'll see what happens the rest of the day, but I got a hole to dig out of.
If there's anybody that can do it, buddy, you can do it. Give it up for Josh Wilson, everybody. So we're going to launch this
Well, watch this cut come down through the bottom of the block. Everything looks good, but he's just over too far to the left. There's some of the rookie nerves. We saw a flag on the stage, but
The leader right now, Josh Wilson. It's Calvin Willard. Vermont on stand number 1. Stand number 2, the veteran Mike Esch.
Warm up your saws.
Trying to beat Josh Wilson with a 14.86.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, Tommy, any other time a 14.86 meant somebody messed something up. But I got to be honest, it looked like a clean cut from Josh Wilson. You can see Mike Esch coming through the block about 7 seconds. Good race from both these guys, but the technician of Mike Esch, 13.81. A very quick cut based on what we're seeing with this timber. And I was about to say he cut fast enough, I couldn't get it out there. Mike Esch, I mentioned this in the Springboard event, he is known as a technician. He is a professor. He is a student. He is going to study every part of this discipline, and that's where it pays off.
Both cuts are good.
Come on, watch out for the trap door there. You got to come over here, buddy. My guy's just so calm. You know, when Rich says both cuts are good, I was thinking to myself, you're not kidding. I mean, Mike Esch, you just took it down by 2 seconds. Is there any reaction you have when you see that first heat go up and the times are in the 15-second range?
Well, I knew when I saw them go, it was a pretty slow time, and I said I'm going to have to feel out the saw and see what it's doing. They brought these new saws out 4 or 5 years ago, and I feel like I've really got dialed into them. So as soon as I hit the wood, it got a little bit heavy, and then I tuned it in, and it was just cutting real smooth from there.
Great job, Mike Esch, unofficially in first place right now. Big round of applause all the way from Pennsylvania. Mike.
Let's have a look at that run from Mike Esch. Thin to win. We say it often. Look at the thickness of that disc. Not much room to give, but what makes that cut go faster is the thin disc will flex away from the end of the log. It takes the pressure off of the rivets and the side plates of that chain and allows it to pass more freely through the cut. Mike Esch, again, a technician, and this is the discipline where he can really bring that to the stage.
In his work life, he's been both a jeweler and an IT specialist. So, yeah, technician certainly applies. And he bettered the best time so far by Josh Wilson by more than a second. Official time of 13.68 for Mike Esch.
I'm trying to get Cassandra Slingland to hold that sign up. We're trying to get a camera on it. It says Esch forever. You're not kidding. Well, he's in the lead right now.
And there it is, the official time.
There's your standings after 2 heats in the stock saw right there, and it's Mike Esch on top with a 13.68. Josh Wilson there. It's 14.86. Won the first heat, but finds himself in second place. Calvin Willard, third place from that heat we just saw. And Tristan Van Beek wasn't able to keep pace with his fast, incredibly fast start in the springboard.
Dave, I still have nightmares about the stock saw in the STIHL Timbersports. Heat number 3, Trevor Beaudry and Zach Brous.
Two Northeasterners going at it in heat number 3 of the stock saw. Trevor Beaudry had top 4 points in the first discipline of the day, the springboard, trying to do that here in the stock saw on a day which the times seem to be running a little bit slower than you might be used to from championships past. Going up against Zach Brous. Zach, a good stock saw cutter, single buck cutter as well.
Warm up your saws.
Yeah, Tommy, but Mike Esch.
Mike Esch is the man. He's the man.
I think that's going to be a tough time to beat. We'll see. Yeah. These guys are learning, though. They're watching. They're watching every single heat, every single cut.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Both these guys tight, clean to the block. You see the cut there from Trevor Beaudry. You saw that sawdust. Oh, there it is. He stuffed up at the bottom. I was about to say, forget about Trevor Beaudry. Let's just get away from him. Let's take the pressure off. Oh, no, this can't be happening.
Oh, Lord.
He is looking for any cuttable wood. I mentioned at the start of the show how something just seems like it goes wrong. Something seems like it goes wrong. Springboard went so well, and Trevor Beaudry is just beside himself over this cut.
Rich Hallett, the officials, just tossed the yellow flag, so he's going to inspect his one disc he's got down there, and it doesn't look like a complete one.
Well, and here's what Trevor Beaudry is hoping for and trying to help with, and I don't think he's got a case, is if you can put pieces together and prove that it was a complete disc, he can get credit for it. In this case, though, we've made just mincemeat out of this thing. A transition between cuts. I don't know if I've ever seen one go so wrong. There you see 1, 2. Neither one of those is a complete disc. Here he goes back to 3. He's outside of it. So I think he takes 4 or 5. I guess it was just the third. No, he does go back. Here's number 4, I believe, going back at it. But at this point, he tries to steer it away from the line, and I don't know. They're going to be talking about this one for years.
Okay, DQ on this stand, incomplete disc. Your cut was good.
I want to point out a little nuanced detail. Trevor Beaudry points off stage at one man, Nathan Waterfield, and he points to Nathan and signals to the side of the stage. That means he's going to be appealing this decision.
It was a bit of a firm block. We can tell from, anytime you get a 15-second, 13-second cut in stock saw, it's firm. So I just tried to get quick to the wood, easy on the saw, down through the wood, not trying to bog it out, and came out okay.
Thanks, Zach. Boy, tough round.
Heat number 3 with 1 heat to go. Let's watch the replay.
I got to be honest, I missed most of Zach Brous's upcut in this stock saw event because I was watching the train wreck for Trevor Beaudry on stand number 1. Let's take a look at that far side. Zach Brous looks like a machine. A little bit tight to that line.
Yeah,
wow.
I didn't see that.
Did not leave himself a whole, we were all watching stand number 1.
Yeah.
Did not leave himself a whole lot of room to work with. The line cannot be severed. It can be abraded, scraped, cut, whatever. But stand number 1 is where all the attention was. Here's that 4th time where he went up through and actually cut out into the middle. He's got to somehow convince the judge that in all of that chaos, he made a complete cut, even though there's not a complete disc on the stage. It's the difference between a bad time and no time. And like I said, as soon as the DQ was announced, he was already signaling to Nathan Waterfield, who sits right off the edge of the stage, that he needs to have a word with Nathan Waterfield, who is in charge of all of these rule issues. Nathan Waterfield would then be the one to take the complaint.
Yeah.
Shall I put it as politely as possible to the judging staff? Maybe it goes for video review. It's going to be a tough case to prove, though.
Well, we'll sort that out through the rest of the competition here. Let's give Zach Brous his due. Finished well enough in the second place with a 14.12. An excellent effort there. But as it stands right now, no points rather, for Trevor Beaudry. Beautiful day, though. We give Milwaukee, Wisconsin top points because the weather is just terrific today. Beautiful, cool out here by the lake in the BMO Pavilion here, part of German Fest. Certainly very proud, very honored to be a part of this tradition here in Milwaukee.
I think Nate's going to put a good time down. He's been on the United States team. He's represented the United States overseas. He's no stranger to the pressure of the stage. National titles. I think he's going to be just fine. I know he doesn't need to panic. He does attack. There is no off season for Nate Hodges, but his opponent is also tough, and that opponent is Dakota Robarge, coming away from Upper Michigan. And Dakota Robarge is going against the man we've been talking about, Nate Hodges. Nate Hodges on the right.
Time to beat a 13.68 from Mike Ash. Still stands as the top time. This is the final heat. Dakota Robarge right there. Going to be taking on the reigning U.S. and world champion, Nate Hodges.
Warm up your saws. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Quick, clean to the wood. A little bit of foot movement from both of these guys. I don't like to necessarily watch them like shuffle around too much. It really alters the pressure on the saw. Dakota Robarge is really putting on a clinic. Hodges reels him in though on that upcut by burying the nose of the bar back into the block. It changes how it presents the chain to the wood and really makes the saw a little more aggressive.
Hodges, very close to that 4-inch line. He knows it's there. These guys are actually, it's pretty rare when you come off the stock saw smile. They're having some fun up there. And Dakota, he knows he just grabs some massive points.
Both cuts are good.
I don't know who to interview.
Let's get Dakota over here. Dakota, you made your debut on the stage. As you guys are smiling to come out of. Awesome cut. Just back up a little bit. Awesome cut. You were fast. You were slightly, from my view, I can't wait for the replay. I think you just had Hodges into the wood. You maintained that lead. I'm going to call Dakota taking this. Anybody else see it other than me? Who thought it was Dakota? Davey, who do you got, buddy? All right, let's take a look at the replay if you want to hang out and see where you could have grabbed. That's you right there, flawless, slight hesitation. Sometimes that's just needed to line it up. Talk about it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make a clean cut and, slow and smooth, so that's what I tried to do.
Well, talk us through this exchange. You've got the lead. He starts to dial you in.
Yeah, it was a good transition there, and then, I was just trying to feel out the saw there. This wood's a bit firm, so I didn't really know what to put on it, but I thought it was the right amount.
I'm calling you here. Here it comes.
Hodges is hunting him down. The entire backside of this cut.
Dakota says it's Hodges. He says Nate just in the background there, but phenomenal boy. Nate really gained ground. Regardless, my friend, you just grabbed massive steel points. And it's coming in. I believe they're saying it's Hodges. Yeah, we got boos. And yeah, this is, welcome to BMO Arena. Hey, if you could do that again, which I have a feeling you're going to in the final, Would you change anything?
Yeah, so I got a little heavy at the top. I thought I was going to bog the saw, so I think I would have gone just a little lighter, and I would have probably come off right with Nate.
All right, thanks for the interview. Big round of applause, Dakota Robarge. I believe it's going to be, here comes the replay, but he's going to be in the top 3, top 4. There was some fast times.
Well, here's an incredible matchup. Tommy, we talked about the wood being firm and the times being slow, but what hasn't changed are the saws and the operators. And these operators know how to run these saws. They are going to put on races. It doesn't matter if the wood is soft, firm, anywhere in between. They are going to put on races, and that's what we saw from these two competitors. Very clean, exceptional runs from both these guys. And going back frame by frame by frame, slight advantage towards Hodges. What is absolutely crushing for Dakota Robarge is a win, and those are points. So you can, wish in one hand, but hundreds or thousands of a second are going to cost you points in this discipline.
Well, there's the official 2 100ths of a second as Nate Hodges close out Dakota Robarge in that heat and to take 3rd place. Zach Brous standing in 2nd place with a 14.12, and Mike Esch, the veteran, your winner in the stock saw with 13.68. That is 2 disciplines under our belt. We have 4 more yet to come. The standing block chop, and the axes come out again here in Milwaukee when we return. Anniversary of the STIHL Timbersports Series, 40th anniversary. Hard to wrap your head around that. We are trying to find our champion for 2025, but we're a long way from there right now. 2 disciplines into our competition. Let's take a look at the overall points positions as it stands right now after 2 disciplines, and it's Nate Hodges, defending champion, on top. Dakota Robarge, Mike Esch, Tristan Van Beek, the rookie, came out and won the springboard chop right off the bat. It was a blur up there. Before we could even notice where he was, he had already won it. What a great start for him, and hanging in there in the top 4 spots. All right, we're getting ready for discipline number 3, and that is going to be the standing block chop. Let's lay it out for you the way it works.
Standing block chop. At the standing block chop, the felling of a tree with an axe is simulated. A vertically positioned wooden block with a diameter of 30 centimeters has to be cut through both sides. A powerful and precise swing with the axe is the premise of a good result.
First heat of the standing block chop, Tristan Van Beek and Zach Brous. Van Beek.
Been a while since we've had a total rookie come in here to these championships and have a start like Tristan Van Beek has had today. Had the toughest time of all, points-wise. Well, excepting 1 DQ in the stock saw, but man, what a great start winning in the springboard chop, and we're ready to watch him go up against Zach Brous. And there's Zach on stand number 2 in the standing block.
Tommy, I was watching the overall leaderboard as we were coming back from break there. Spots 2, 3,
Athletes
and 4.
ready.
Robarge, Van Beek, and Esch. Rookie, relative rookie, and our wiliest veteran are just up there wrecking havoc in terms of our STIHL Timbersports overall points. And Van Beek is ready to put on another clinic. Don't call me a rookie as he lays this stand and block apart. 1 and 1 to open. Now he goes into a 2 and 2 pattern, drawing big chips. Zach Brous, though, so powerful, just destroys the top of this block. It's going to be Van Beek by 1 blow of the axe.
After Brous' first hit, but Brous again. Look at the slope Zach brought it to.
A tremendous amount of wood broken from Tristan Van Beek there. Got a little bit dog-legged, I think, at that finish. I got to go back and look at these finishes.
Both cuts are good.
Comes Tristan right here. I'm going to get a talk about that slope that you're bringing. You saw the wood was firm in the stock saw, slight mishap. No panic expression on your face. I like that. But talk about the importance of knowing the log that you're going to cut and knowing exactly what axe to use, but what slope to put on the axe.
To be honest, I thought that log was gonna be a lot softer, and you don't really know what you're getting into until you put your first hit in. And then I realized it was firm, and I just tried to hold my slopes and put them in properly. Had to sneak my axe under a couple hanging chips there, so.
Okay. Anything else, John? You want to talk about the axes? And you know, you bring up one axe, you bring up a spare axe, but you've got boxes of axes that these athletes bring at $600 a piece, and you have to have an arsenal, don't you?
Yeah, I brought one box of axes, and I brought my rigger up with me. I just used my best cutting axe and hope for the best, you know.
All right, great job. Great recovery after the stock saw. We'll see how that time holds up. But your current leader in the standing block chop, Tristan Van Beek.
Well, the end of the stand and block chop for Tristan Van Beek is where he really came through to shine. There he opens up 1-1, and he shifts that entire face up. You see his bottom hit is above that bottom line, as the top hit is above that top line. He shifted the whole face up, and watch what this does as he goes to finish this block. Comes in a little bit low there, but it doesn't matter. One near, now far, and he leaves that ear of wood up there. When he goes to drive this off, he is driving into fresh, clean air on the front side. It was Zach Browse's block that I had seen on TV on the stand number 2, where he was actually dog-legged a little bit. He was, as we say, driving the stump axe on the backside, going down into the bottom of the log instead of driving through into clean air.
There's your official times right there, 21.58 and personal best. Well, all of Van Beek's times are going to be personal best today. He has no history in these championships. Zach Browse, 22.35.
And he too with a standing block, the winner of the stock saw. Let's bring him out, Mike Ish. And one of the best standing block choppers from the East Coast, Calvin Willard.
Watch Willard on the right, a massive amount of real estate he covers in his backswing.
Mike Ish, fresh off his stock saw win. With axe in hand and ready to get after it here, the veteran from Pennsylvania. Personal best of 23.62, so he could do well by setting a new personal best. Going up against Calvin Willard. Calvin Willard. Currently standing in 6th place in overall
Athletes
points.
ready.
Get some work done here.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1. Go!
You know, Mike Esch with a little extra pep in his step as he came out here. I think maybe he had already discounted himself and his performance here in this qualifier here today, but he's sitting really great in terms of overall points. He's trying to lay waste to this. Love watching Calvin Willard take apart, strategically disassemble a standing block. He went to drive it. He could tell it wasn't there. Timber's a little firm. He's got to get that far fibers. There it is. Calvin Willard. Mike Esch had a lot of wood left to the front side of that block, but also gets it off under 30 seconds.
Now sitting on stage, looking at these logs, that is firm. The timing, the accuracy, picking the proper axe with the proper edge on it, all has to come together in order to advance to the finals in this call.
Both cuts are good.
Boy, Calvin, you knew the blocks were firm. You knew the stock saw wood was firm. Did you change up your pattern in your head right before that standing block?
Well, I had an idea that it was going to be firmer than the springboard wood, which it was. So just ends up being a few more hits when you have wood like that.
You talk about, timber sports in general. We all have our best events. We would say you're one of the best hot sawyers in the world. You got to get there. How important is it just to do your job, grab those points, and just look forward to the hot saw where you know you can grab them back?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we got multiple events to do, and you just got to do one event at a time and see what you can get for points in each event. So.
All right, Calvin, we'll let you go. Let you get rested up. Calvin Willard, tough block, did a great job. Let's watch
the replay, Dave.
Well, here we're taking a look at that run from Calvin Willard as he bails out of the front side of that log. Job well done in the front. Got plenty of timber shifted out of the front of that log. And watch as he goes into this back. These guys are used to being able to snap wood fibers at the center of these logs. The timber is usually soft enough. The timber is firm today, but, Tommy, I'll give him credit. It is consistently firm. Nobody's had a runaway block while somebody else is struggling. Everybody has had to deal with firm timber out here. Calvin Willard not super pleased with that time, but he knows that everybody is riding the same struggle bus.
Calvin Willard's time is at 25.45, good enough to hold him in third place after just 2 heats in this discipline. Mike Esch, 28.41, he sits in fourth. 2 more heats to go.
Third heat of the standing blocks, Josh Wilson versus Dakota Robarge. Wilson.
He's been tearing it up this year. There was a job in Webster Springs, West Virginia this spring.
Heat number 3 coming up. Josh Wilson from West Virginia going up against Michigan's Dakota Robarge. Josh had a rough start in the springboard chop, but trying to claw his way back into this thing now.
Yeah, good shot for him to do just that. He's been cutting standing blocks very well. He's got a tough dance partner, though. Dakota Robarge has been looking very strong in addition to Josh Wilson. This is going to be a barn burner.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Watch, both these guys are going to open 1-1, start chasing those corners. Chips are falling out very cleanly for Dakota Robarge, exercising some patience. I love to see that. Stuck around on the front side of that log, got the job done. Josh Wilson has a little more timber in the front side of his log. Oh, but Josh Wilson just powers through. A 19.2 is not a time to write home about until you get into this firm timber on this stage, on this day. That is a great time.
Both cuts are good.
Got to get a quick word with Josh Wilson here. Josh, I can't get it out of my mind that cut you put up in West Virginia this spring in the final heat of the underhand against the best in the world. Everybody was watching, everyone but you, and you, the 2 hands skyward, the emotion that poured out, and you're bringing it to the BMO Arena today. Talk about what that feels like going sub 20 seconds in this field.
Well, I mean, to do it in the field is good, but to do it on this wood is really good. So, yeah, I mean, I needed that. I'm in a hole, I got to dig out, and I had to have that. So, yeah, all the emotions are pouring into the axe right now. So
great recovery, great momentum. Keep it going, buddy. Into the single buck in the underhand coming up. Josh Wilson in the lead, under 20 seconds. Here we go with the replay.
Well, from the other angle, I watched Josh Wilson finish up the front side of this log, and I gave credit to Dakota Robarge. He stood in there and put some extra effort into the front side of the log. I thought maybe Dakota Robarge was going to get him, but in the back side of this log, Josh Wilson just leaned back and brought the gur, punched it in the guts. Didn't quite get that. That could have come off 1 hit sooner. The third from end last hit went into the guts of the thing. He did not cut those near fibers. He had to go back for 1 more near down hit, then went far. That 1 hit, yeah, it opened up the guts a bit, but I think that was a bit of a wasted hit. Maybe could have even had a faster cut in this firm timber.
Josh Wilson had a rough go of it in the springboard chop. He said, I'm going to forget about the tree and try to come back, and he's done just that. Look at him sitting on top of our standings right now with an 18.95.
I said, bring that block down here so I can get a good talking to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on the ground works better. Dakota Robarge taking over second place with a 21.04.
What Josh Wilson needed right there, sitting down in the basement with Mowgli, he flipped the mountain right there. We got some amazing skating. Still to come.
Yeah, one heat remaining. We're going to bring out the man who actually chopped the final standing block for the United States team over in Europe. He's earned that spot. In just a few seconds, we will be bringing him out. Hey, how about a big applause for our stage crew replacing these blocks? They replaced the springboard poles, and they never get enough applause. Here we go. Final heat of the standing block chop. This is Trevor Beaudry versus the man who's chopped for the U.S. team in the standing block, Nate Hodges.
Final heat of the standing block, time to beat an 18.95 from Josh Wilson. It's going to be Trevor Beaudry on stand number 1, going against the U.S. champion, reigning champion, trying to defend this week in Milwaukee, Nate Hodges.
Trevor Beaudry, a great standing block cutter, and he needs to post one of his best standing block chops ever after a disqualification in the stock saw run. I'm a little bit nervous though for him. He came jogging out to that stage. He's just
athletes ready.
I don't know. I feel like he's got a little bit too much urgency, a little too much panic.
3, 2, 1. Go!
He's got to cut it fast, but he's got to cut it right, and he's got to beat Nate Hodges. Hodges, again, just breaking all conformity to the sport, choked up on that axe handle, and just has incredible axe speed and power. Hodges about one blow away. Oh, it hangs! Hodges, a 16.66. He says, I don't want to hear about hard timber. I'll show you a 16-second time. Beaudry in that 21-second run. It's going to put him in that top 3 or 4. He's really needed to be up a little bit higher than that, though.
Both cuts are good.
Here comes Nate. Nate, that's got to be the fast 8-hit front I've ever seen anyone put in. Talk about the final blows. You know if you wrench the block off, it is a disqualification. You got the blade stuck in there. You have the presence of mind to pull it off, sever it with the blade, but sometimes the adrenaline, I got to say, I've never seen you bring that speed, buddy.
Yeah, Dave, I was going to say, whatever you do, don't zoom in on my facial expressions as I'm driving that off. It might be kind of scary. Yeah, you know, I knew going into it was a little bit of a firm block, and the 8-hit front wasn't all there, and had to do a little work in the back, but put him in fast and it worked out.
Yeah, you put him in very fast. I mean, you were driving at about 13 seconds. You had the time to take a few extra, no panic, but we'll see what happens. Like sometimes that blade, like you said, you're sort of hitting in no man's land. If you don't hang the axe out, you can get that stick, and that's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave.
All right, we're going to let you go. We talked to this guy all day. All right, get out of here. Single buck coming up for Nate Hodges. Here's the replay right now.
Well, here's a look at that run from Nate Hodges. Had one get away from it, dropped down, and goes into those round up hits. The block splits along the grain. Now, these competitors have to put in fasteners to hold those blocks in place, so that's not a DQ. Gets into the backside, not the choked up Hodges we've seen in the past, but amazing axe speed. And there again, put one right into the middle of that block like we saw in the last heat. Did not get him where he wanted to be, much like Josh Wilson. Had to go back, pick up that hit again, shift the axe to the inside of the log to get those fibers that were hanging on.
Well, by more than a second and a half, it's going to be Nate Hodges taking the top spot and taking the win in the standing block chop. Official time of 17.45. Josh Wilson in his 18.95 is good enough for second place. He's moving in the right direction. Dakota Robarge, his time of 21.04, has him in third place. And Tristan Van Beek coming back with some more chopping here in the standing block chop, and he's in fourth place when we finish that discipline. Well, we're only halfway through with our 6 disciplines here in Pool A. We will come back. We'll have the saws ready to go when we return to Milwaukee. Halfway through our 6 disciplines here in the 2025 STIHL Timbersports US Championships, 40th year. STIHL Timbersports here in the United States. celebrating it with another great trip up here to the state of Wisconsin. That's lumberjack country, that is for sure. Let's take a look at our overall point standing at the halfway point as we round the pole and head for home. Nate Hodges, no surprise, leading in the points ahead of Dakota Robarge. Tristan Van Beek and Zach Browse, and now those four would be passing on to the championship round. But we get the saws out for the next discipline here, and here it is laid out for you, the single buck competition.
Single buck. The single buck is a one-man saw about 2 meters long. With this, the athletes have to cut off a complete disc of a 46-centimeter thick wooden block. The perfect interplay between rhythm and strength is the key to success.
Here we go, Dave. Single buck. No, all right, like I said, let's bring him out. All right, here we go. He won of the single buck. Let's bring him out. Tristan Van Beek versus the winner of the stock saw, Mike Esch.
Single buck heat number 1. Tristan Van Beek, one of our winners so far today in a discipline, going against another winner, Mike Esch. Van Beek in the springboard. The stock saw, Mike Esch. Esch on stand number 2. Tristan Van Beek over there, stand number 1. Times have been not exactly as we've expected them to be today, Dave.
No, the timber has been
Dave,
firm.
I called you Dave.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
We got
That's
2
fine.
Daves. It's hard not to do that.
The timber has been firm here today. The times have not been what we have expected, and I was actually just thinking about that because I'm running through the rookie Tristan Van Beek, who has been putting on a clinic in the springboard event, the standing block event. I'm curious to see how the single buck goes. I have seen Mike Esch cut dozens, hundreds of single buck runs. Not to start poking fingers and pointing age and stuff like that.
Athletes
but
ready.
There's going to be some cutting that has to happen on this timber.
Okay.
I've got silver in my beard. I'm sitting up here with you.
Okay.
Mike Esch is still out there getting it done, and I'm curious how it's going to go. Tristan Van Beek looking a little bit robotic. Now he's starting to find his pace. Again, I think this is firm timber. Now I like what I see from both these guys. I really think that first quarter to third of the log, they were feeling it out. I like to see Van Beek throw those shoulders in. It is Tristan Van Beek. Mike Esch, though, not far behind. 17, 20 seconds, not a blistering pace. You could see those guys a little bit of hesitation. I think they're thinking about the stock saw wood, some of the chopping blocks we've seen. I think they were really kind of feeling out that top part of the wood. And you know who else is watching? Every other competitor in Pool A out back.
No doubt.
Both cuts are good.
Comes Tristan. Tristan. Great cut, boy. You were digging in, you were grinding in the lower half of that log. And you know, they call it the misery whip, and it really is a full body workout. You're really using your legs. Talk about that cut. It was firm. Didn't seem to slow you down. Great technique, buddy.
Thank you very much, Dave. On that one, I did anticipate the wood being a little firmer, so I knew that I just had to have a good flow, keep it moving, and it would eventually come off. So.
Great cut, Tristan. You know how the saw works. Your handle right to the wood. Great technique, and you've really come on in the single buck lately, especially this year.
Yeah, just trying to cut like Super Dave Jewett here. Give him a hand.
Get out of here. It's all about you. Get out of here. Let's take a look at this replay, Dave.
Here's that run with Tristan Van Beek on the near side and Mike Esch on the far side. Van Beek, full arm extension, snaps in at the end. He's talking about wanting to cut like Super Dave Jewett. We need a little more of the head and shoulders into that at the end of that stroke. But man, has his cutting just come on exceptionally well as he runs that saw all the way to the handle. You see the nose disappear. Every tooth on that saw is working for him, minimizing the change of directions. Every time you stop that saw and reverse its direction, you are expending energy, you're expending time, and not making product.
He was just like,
We'll have to get a better look at that footwear at some point during the thing here. It's different from any I've ever seen in the single buck, but Tristan Van Beek doing well enough to take the top spot after a single heat in this 17.45.
Heat 2 with a single buck. Zach Brous versus Calvin Willard. I think we're going to see these times fall. Zach Brous, an absolute animal on the left, so strong, dying single buck.
Should be a good one here. Single buck matchup between Zach Brous, stand number 1, and Calvin Willard on stand number 2. Calvin at age 43 doesn't look it, man. He is a well-conditioned athlete. Even still, he's got some work to do. He wants to make his way into the top 4. That's what all of our competitors are striving for, because if you don't make the top 4, you are down the road, so to speak.
Zach Brous, this should be a chance for him to grab some STIHL overall points. I got to be honest, Tommy, I'm surprised he's seated this low. He's in our, heat number 2. In my mind, he should be seated a little higher. But again, it's not an emotional thing. It's strictly based on past performance, past times, and we seat and heat all of our competitors in their respective pools. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he should be down here in this pool. I would expect him to put on a pretty blistering cut and grab some STIHL points.
Athletes ready.
The time to beat.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, they're off and running. Zach Brous, maybe I spoke too soon. Zach Brous with a hang up at the top of that log. Calvin Willard not waiting around. Willard with much better form, but the saw, he's been wanting a new saw for a long time. The saw is getting down through there to the bottom. It's about an 18-second run. Zach Brous, a 20-second run. He is not going to be pleased with that run. He had a hang up in the top 3rd, just did not perform well. That is not what I thought I'd see on stand number 1.
Both cuts are good.
Calvin, actually you borrowed one of my saws here last year. You've been talking about, I need a new saw, Dave. My saw is outdated. And talk about how frustrating it can be waiting for that gear. And what do you do? What are you running today, bud?
Well, I actually borrowed a saw again from another friend, fellow competitor. But yeah, I mean, all these saws are a little bit different, and the wood's always different. Today, certainly, that wood's pretty firm. Not sure if you would call that 2-cutter wood, but.
Yeah, Calvin's talking about how many teeth per raker you push the handle to the wood. You really know how to run the whole saw and the reasons behind that. Talk about that, how important that is.
Yeah, sure. I mean, as you mentioned before, the saw's got a shape for a reason. And if you're not running the whole saw, not only is it going to take you more strokes, but you're not using the geometry of the saw either.
Thanks, Calvin. Let's watch the replay. Calvin Willard.
Calvin Willard has the form, but needs an updated tool for sure. Zach Brous, I don't know what happened here at the start. You see, got really heavy on the heel, drawing it back in, and then lifts up on the handle at the start of that push stroke, hangs a raker on the far side of that block of wood. We transition over to stand number 2. There's Calvin Willard. The saw is cutting. It's moving down through the block, and he is running it well. But again, it's not your weapon in this fight. You're not comfortable with this tool. It's like asking a race car driver to get out and run somebody else's car. Awesome that he had the opportunity to use it, but he needs his own weapon. He needs to be able to practice, train, learn, and perfect the craft with his own weapon.
Calvin Willard's time is 17.74, 3/10 of a second behind our leader, Tristan Van Beek, right now. After that, it's Esch in 3rd and Brous in 4th place with a 20.02.
Can't emphasize it enough. Tristan Van Beek in the lead We knew he was coming back strong. We knew he did a lot of work.
Yeah,
wow.
You're absolutely right, Dave. You get a little gun shy on the top when you feel that raker, and that raker, if it digs in, the largest competitor in the world, it will stop. But we got a big heat. I'm just looking at it, ready for one of these athletes coming up. I think we're going to see that 17 happen, and I think it's going to happen due to this man coming up right now, Trevor Beaudry versus Dakota Robards. But Trevor.
All right, Trevor Beaudry trying to shake off a DQ back in the stock saw. Got work to do, that is for sure. He'll be on stand number 1, going up against Dakota Robards on stand number 2. You see him in the background there.
Well, Tommy, we talked about one rule change in the springboard chop with the removal or the non-use of the nails to hold the springboard vertically against the pole. One of the big changes in the single buck is they took away foot blocks completely.
Yes.
They put in a time limit that I think the rules officials thought would eliminate foot blocks, because nobody would have time to put them in. Certain competitors developed certain apparati, scaffolding network systems that they could quickly bring out, put down on the stage. It was determined that no, the powers that be don't want that on the stage either. You saw Trevor Beaudry come out very quickly, tape measure down, mark out where his feet are going to need to be. Spiked shoes
Athletes
are pretty
ready.
much the only option now.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
You can see those metal caulks, the metal spikes on Dakota Robards' feet glistening in the sun here in Milwaukee. Beaudry looks a little bit robotic, not getting the saw all the way into the wood. Robards, Robards with a hang up at the bottom. Robards was looking way smoother, more efficient than Trevor Beaudry going down through that block. Got a little bit aggressive at the bottom of the block. You get into the small wood, you take all of that weight that was riding on the full diameter of that log, and you get to the bottom of the log where it's only resting on just a few inches. That is a lot of pressure on a small number of teeth. That is a recipe for a hang-up. Tough break for Dakota Robards. Still an awesome time, though.
Both cuts are good.
Dakota, great cut off the top, great speed. You got through that firm wood, the hang at the bottom. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I tried to put a little more pressure in the middle because it's a little firm. So, and then I tried to change it at the bottom, go a little lighter. I think that's what hung me up.
Great cut. You're in the lead unofficially, right around the 16-second mark. We're going to see you in the finals. Any adjustments that you can make, foot placement, the level of the saw, to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, well, that's kind of an event I just do. I don't really know what I'm doing. So I just pull the saw back and forth, hope it doesn't hang.
All right, great job, great interview. Always willing to give a great interview. Dakota Robards, big round of applause.
Here's the replay, Dave.
Well, in terms of pulling the saw back and forth, he's doing it very well. Drawing the nose of that saw all the way in, all the way to the handle on the far side. And you can see him, well, you can't see in this shot, but you can see him in the wide angle, throwing his head and shoulders into the end of it, extending those arms out. There's a good look at it. But there's that hang up at the bottom. I think he thought he was about ready to drive that off on the bottom, and it just wasn't quite there. Competitors will rear up the handle, hoping it's that last push stroke, try to put as much force down and drive off the bottom. I think he was getting a little bit premature trying to get out of the bottom of that block.
Well, he got away with it, so to speak. He's on top of the standings right now with one heat remaining, a time of 15.83. That's the top time so far. And the single buck and Trevor Beaudry hanging in there in second place with a 16.89.
We might have already wasted all the O2 up there. I'll throw them out there. We got a cannon over here.
All right. Fourth heat and final heat. These two big standing block cutters. Let's bring them out. Josh Wilson and Nate Hodges. It's going to be all right, Dave.
Things happen, buddy. We did about 20 test shots behind the stage. because we had that thing tuned up a little hot.
Josh Wilson kind of on the comeback trail after a slow start in the first discipline of the day. He'll be on stand number 1. Personal best of 12.80. It's going to be hard for these guys to hit their personal best today. With just all around the wood, a little bit more challenging this time around. Going up against the world champion, that's all. Oh, that's not all. He's also the U.S. defending champion, Nate Hodges, in the final heat of the single buck.
Well, you saw, Tommy, as Josh Wilson was getting set up with his starter cut there, head judge Rich Hallett was watching over him. He had a magnetic level clicked to the side of that. He wants that saw perfectly plumbed. 2 reasons. The shortest way through this wood is straight from top to bottom, not at an angle. Secondly, if the saw is leaned over even just a degree, a fraction of a degree, you'll hear it click or rattle through the wood. That is friction that slows your pace.
2, 1, go!
Beautiful day here in Milwaukee. The sun just gleaming off that saw from Nate Hodges. Nate is stretching out, but the speed that Nate Hodges brings to every discipline is just ungodly. 13:44 showing as his unofficial time, walks away from the rest of the field, much like he did in the stand and block event, much like he does in so many events. Nate Hodges brings a pace that is just unseen.
And boy, as Hodges adjusted, we saw Hodges in the U.S. Trophy event, the North American Trophy event this spring. And he just found a different gear, different technique, maybe a different saw. I can't wait to talk to Hodges about this win.
Both cuts are good.
Man, what a way for him to put a damper on Josh Wilson's cut. Josh, just over 16 seconds there, Dave. But Hodges, just over 13, and he's bringing you a treat, buddy. Here you go.
I figured we'd talk about it.
Hey, you want to talk about it? Talk about it. I just want to. I want to revisit this spring in the North American Trophy event. I watched you single buck, buddy. You beat me in the World Championships before. I didn't like your technique this spring. You didn't either. We talked about it. But I love how you made the adjustment, and what a cut today. Let's talk about that technique.
Yeah, you know, first and foremost, I got to hand it to JP Mercier. Not only did he build a beautiful saw for me there, it runs great, but he's always helping me with technique. Him and his son Max, they're so kind and help me, and that's you know, I listen to them. They're very smart. They know what they're doing. Yeah, and I had to stay disciplined. That was a weird log. It was like cutting concrete the first half. The bottom half felt like normal pine, but that was an interesting log. That's why I brought this piece over here. It's crazy. It's all red here and soft here, and you could actually just totally feel the difference. It's interesting.
Thanks very much, Nate. Nate Hodges, your winner in the single buck.
Well, there's a great look at Nate Hodges getting down through there. We have talked multiple times, Dave Jewett and myself, we've talked with Nate Hodges. He is an unconventional cutter in so many of these disciplines, and he tends to rely on his muscles because he's got a lot of them, but he's using the small muscles. He is arm sawing off, or he has been arm sawing off, and the argument has been, if you can engage some of your big muscles, let's get the core involved, let's get the legs involved, let's refine this technique. He has been fast with the small muscles, with short abbreviated strokes. Now that he is starting to listen to Max and JP Mercier and Dave Jewett, he is going to be absolutely lethal in this discipline.
Yes, all that adds up to dominance this time around in the single buck. Looked at a 13.22 official time for Nate Hodges to take top points. Dakota Robarge in second place with a 15.83. Josh Wilson on the comeback trail, 16.23, and Trevor Beaudry round out our top 4. Let's take it back to the stage and Dave and Dave.
We got some flags, we got some hats. All right, you know how it works, Milwaukee. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. We're gonna be giving away some awesome stuff. If you got flags already, wave them in the air. If you don't, put the hands up for STIHL. You definitely need one, buddy. You've been cheering all night. There you go. There you go. Let's get to the back over here. Let's get to the back. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, you already got one, don't you? You do. You almost got me again. There you go. Come on, we need to hear it. I'm gonna go to the middle. This side's sleeping. Sleeping over here. There we go. Oh, you guys are way too cute to not have flags. You gotta wave them. Gotta wave them. If you already got flags, keep waving them out there. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, you came up and found me there. All right, we're heading to the other side. We gotta find some more. Oh yeah, you're running up to grab one. He had the biggest smile on his face. There you go. All right, 3 more. Here you go. And I love the lederhosen, buddy. Happy German Fest to you. We got more swag to give away all weekend long.
All right, Dave, I hate to interrupt, but we got another chop coming up. This is the Underhand. Take a look at the big screen at our next event.
Underhand chop. In the past, the underhand chop technique was used to split logs. Standing on a horizontally anchored block, the athletes cut through a 32-centimeter log. The block has to be worked from both sides.
First heat of the Underhand chop, Tristan Van Beek versus Mike Esch. The winner of the
And it is getting late in the game right now. Van Beek known for his springboard, known for his standing, and he's going to have to...
Here we go with the Underhand chop, Tristan Van Beek. Winner of the first discipline of the day, the springboard chop, finds himself in the top 3 as it stands right now in overall points. He'd like to stay there. He'd like to go on to the finals. Mike Esch, just the first man out, sitting in 5th place in overall points. Mike Esch, the winner in the stock saw today. So 2 winners squaring off again in the first heat of the Underhand.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Logs rolled into a horizontal position. Tristan Van Beek doing very well in springboard and standing block. He's got to be a technician here, though, too, and disassemble this log. Mike Esch, one of the best underhand cutters in the world. Wow, very close to the foothold for Mike Esch. You can see that great overhead shot. Mike Esch steps in, tightens up his face. Look at the precision cutting from Tristan Van Beek. He's thrown to the guts, one to the bottom, but it's Mike Esch that's going to come out with the win. So Tommy, when timber gets firm, when we're dealing with harder timber up here, the technicians rise to the top. Mike Esch is a technician. This is where axe presentation matters, disassembly
Both cuts
matters.
are good.
I love how Tristan Van Beek just paid homage to Mike Esch. You're not going anywhere, buddy. Let's get our... Mike, a great cut. You were wound up on 3. They didn't even hit the 2 in the countdown, and you had one axe tickling the rafters up there ready to go. You're pumped up.
Yeah, I really wanted to put a good cut down. So, so it was a decent log, and I was pretty happy to cut it nice.
And how did that log compare to your standing block? You said it was decent. From my view, it looked like it had a sap ring around, and that's typically farther up the tree?
Yeah, the log had a big sack ring on it. Usually that's a bit firmer, but it was definitely softer than the standing block, for sure.
Thanks, Mike. Big round of applause from Mike Esch. Mike Esch, we'll see him in the hot zone.
Well, here's a look down the line. That's Tristan Van Beek in the near ground, Mike Esch on the far side. You can see the block starts to shift there as we watch back and forth and these guys exchange blows. Van Beek one in the guts, Esch to the top, Van Beek to the bottom, but it doesn't move. He keeps going back to the bottom. There's a second round to the bottom, works his way back up through. That block may have been severed, but it takes one more blow before it drops down. This is at the discretion of the cutter. So we saw that little bit of shift in that block from Tristan Van Beek. He could have stepped off. If he was confident that, you know what, that block is broken, it's just kind of held together, set together, but even though the fibers are severed, he could step away. If the judge can come up and pull the end of that log away without any resistance, without any fibers holding it, it'd be a clean cut. So that may have been a win for Tristan Van Beek. I don't know, though. It seemed like it really took one more hit to actually sever that log.
Well, it's Mike Esch competing well into his mid-50s here. Really a marvel out here. And for the second time today, he finds himself in the lead in the discipline. This one's far from over now, but let's look at the overall standings. And that's what it's all about. Nate Hodges on top. He's got that one in his pocket. He's going on to the finals. No doubt about that. Tristan Van Beek, as it stands now, of course, this is a sort of a rolling standings as it stands. And Dakota Robarge and Mike Esch, for now, having moved up into the top 4.
The other hand.
Yeah, but let's get ready for this.
Calvin Willard from Morgantown, West Virginia. Josh Wilson. Josh Wilson
post a blistering time in this underhand. I will fall out of my chair. Okay. He has been cutting underhands so well.
Where he stood with 2 fists skyward with the world's best.
Going to be Calvin Willard on stand 1. There he is.
Absolutely. You gotta wonder if
Calvin's got work to do, trying to do his best to make it into the top 4. Josh Wilson done a great job of coming back from a very, very tough start to his day.
hard not to go back to the well with this one. Calvin Willard, always so strong in the underhand.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Josh Wilson, stand number 2, battling back from a lackluster performance in that springboard chop, has been cutting underhands very strong this season in other competitions. I think, oh, and he's around already. Look at that axe just buried. It is going so deep in the block, it's hanging up. Wilson's gonna get it gathered up. He's gotta get, oh man, that axe is just sticking. That's robbing momentum, but look at that, 22-second cut. I feel like a better axe block matchup, and he'd have been sub 20 in that underhand.
Well, you can see the compression wood, not as much satin wood on that log. Firm log for Willard, but Josh Wilson, I think he only needed 2 drivers. I'm not even sure he was aware that log was going to come off. But he did a massive job at the front, just riding that wave of confidence in the underhand.
Both cuts are good.
Rich getting pumped up now on the stage. He's feeling it here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, both cuts are good. Damn right they are. I don't know if you were ready for that block to come off. You started driving and all of a sudden it just severed. Were you ready for that? You knew it. Big front.
Yes, yeah, big front. And I knew it was coming off. To be honest, I was a little surprised about that block. You know, because you cut so much wood over the years, you can figure out where the block is in the tree. I had a butt log, I had no sapwood on it. Okay. So usually in West Virginia, when that's not there, it's gonna be a corky block, but it's gonna be a good one. And, but all the wood we've had today, it's like, oh, I don't know, but it chopped like I thought it would, so. Yeah, I was happy with it.
Great job. Josh Wilson, your leader in the underhand chop. On fire today. Let's watch the replay.
Well, here's a good look at Josh Wilson in the near ground as he moves into the second half of this log. Watch this axe bury right to the maker's mark, as we like to say. A little bit of a hang-up, though. That axe is going well deep into the block, but it wasn't free in the wood, especially over on his drive side, over on this right side. And that just robs energy, that robs momentum. There is a lot of time to be saved if that axe was a little freer. He mentioned the block was a little on the corky side. Does make it soft, but it tends to grab that axe going into the block.
I'm like, he's gonna be done by the time Dave's done talking to me over here. And that back, holy cow, just melted away.
Josh Wilson, good time there, 21.85. Going to be a good one to shoot at for our remaining 4 competitors in the 2 heats that are coming up. Calvin Willard's time, 33.35. Some trouble there in the underhand for him.
Boy, Dakota, I underestimated his single buck ability. I'm not going to underestimate it in the underhand chop. We'll see if they're ready. And when they say go, just go, Dave. Okay, heat number 3 of the underhand chop, Zach Brous versus Dakota Robarge.
Should be a good matchup here. Zach Brous right there. Got a personal best right around what the top times are so far today. Going up against Dakota Robarge. Also in that region. For personal best, though, we'll see how well they perform in this heat, third heat of the underhand chop.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Robarge looking to fight his way into the finals again. What an accomplishment from this young man, originally from New York, now from Michigan. Looks like a great pile of chips on the backside of this. Zach Brous is not waiting around. He is in a relatively desperate situation. Look at the slabs of wood coming out of Zach Brous's block. Tons of wood at the bottom. He's got to chase that. One more to the bottom. It didn't go. Oh. Dakota Robarge is going to take him. Zach Brous had the top of that log clear through, just showing daylight. Great overhead shot from the JM folks looking down that block, and you just see that wing of wood sticking out at the bottom. It makes this awesome triangle that you just bury the axe and it just sucks it down in there. But he just had he was overcut on the top, undercut at the bottom, cost him extra drivers at the bottom. Dakota Robarge reeled him in and passed him.
All right, standing here with Zach Brous after that cut. Just you shook your head looking at Robarge after you fell off the log and then finished it. Talk to me about the cut, buddy, because it looked pretty good up to that point.
Yeah, it was a lot better than it tested, and we were setting up our blocks today. So it took me by surprise, but I took an extra chip in the top. I didn't need 2 in the back, and I thought it was going to come off. I stepped off, so I easily wasted 2-3 seconds there that I really needed. So a good cut overall.
Now talk to me about testing the block at the beginning of the show. You get a test block out back that you get to put all of your axes in. And then we've seen variability in the wood today. So you tested them again in your footholds up front. What were you seeing? Because you said it was different on each side of your log.
Yeah, so on my underhand log, it was a drier log with no sap. My standing block and my test log out back were all sap. So the axes tested way different, but in the footholds, a chisel works nice, and that's what I went with.
All right, give him a big round of applause. Zach Brous, everybody. Great cut.
You heard Zach Brous talking about axe selection. The underhand chop is when you get the best window into what your timber is going to be like. You actually cut your own footholds. We see where the competitors are standing. Beautiful shot down the line there. You get to test axes a little bit as you're working your way and making those footholds. So you get a little bit of an insight in what is cutting well. Zach Brous selecting for a chisel grind on his axe. You see him, he thought he had that driven off. He was already on his heels, goes after the bottom, had to go back and just pick up one more hit.
Well, there it is, Dakota Robarge with the 23.69 right there. Puts him into second place, and Zach Brous falling about a second behind, part of a second behind, 24.24. That sort of unfortunate extra hit needed right there. But Josh Wilson, man, still on top, hanging in there with a 21.85. Pretty good margin ahead of Robarge, but 2 tough customers coming up in the next team.
Underhand chop, Trevor Beaudry and Nate Hodges.
Well, Nate Hodges riding high as expected in first place in overall points by a good margin right here. To no one's surprise, Trevor Beaudry thought he'd be further along in points here, but had an unfortunate DQ earlier today in the competition. He's been fighting that and will fight it to the bitter end. Hodges on stand 2, Beaudry on stand 1.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Beaudry on stand number 1, a traditional slide-handing chopper. You look at Nate Hodges on stand number 2, a club-handed chopper. We mentioned he tends to be a little unconventional with some of his events, using those muscles, using that strength. Hands stay together at the bottom, gives himself an extra wrap of tape for that top hand. Oh, what a finish from these two guys! I was about to say advantage Beaudry. I thought he had that by a full swing. I would have swore that Hodges had to go back for one more swing. But again, a testament to the power of Nate Hodges. Just absolutely blistering pace with that axe and slams through the bottom of the block.
Are good.
Just go to your left a little bit. Good seal. Trevor, what an absolute unleash of power, unleash of emotion into that underhand chop. Again, on go. You came flying down, timed it beautifully. Looked like maybe one extra hit on the bottom. Tell us, you hyperanalyze that cut for us.
Yeah, so as we've been saying all day, those logs were firm. And I knew, I put the first round in, I knew I needed to put 9 in the front. 1 and 1, put an extra in the bottom. I actually shorted the front. If you see it on TV, I missed on the chip side bad. That's why in the back, I opened up and I stuck with it instead of trying to punch it off. And I just knew I just had to lay the pace to it, keep moving, and let the axe eat.
All right, great job. And for all the up and coming timber sports athletes,
that's how you win, knowing exactly what you did, the awareness as soon as you come up. And some of these athletes.
There's a look down the line, stand 1, near ground, stand 2, far ground. So that's Beaudry in the near ground. Look at the hop turn, the helicopter turn from Nate Hodges in the background as he tries to get around as quick as possible. Massive slabs of wood falling out of Beaudry's block here. Watch the finish. Let's watch this as this comes to its conclusion. Beaudry to the bottom. Now he's turning his attention to the drive side, one top, and then down to the bottom. These guys are just in sync down through this log. It is Beaudry just ahead here by maybe a fraction of a swing. Oh, not quite there yet. I thought that was the ending swing. We're not quite there yet. Wow, what a tight finish. Trevor Beaudry, just a small advantage. Hats off to Trevor Beaudry. If you can hang with Nate Hodges in a swing speed competition, like Arden Coger Jr., I keep going back to Arden Coger Jr. for swing speed in the underhand. Hodges is right there with him. If Trevor Beaudry is putting up that kind of pace and that kind of swing speed, good on Trevor Beaudry.
Well, it was a much-needed win in the discipline of the underhand chop. Trevor Beaudry with the 8 points, 19-4-8, just a shade ahead of Nate Hodges, second place. Josh Wilson, third, and Dakota Robarge in fourth. Now the all-important going into the final discipline of the day.
Here, Tommy.
Yeah, here are there's the overall points right there. Nate Hodges, no problem, 36 points. He's free and clear, it looks like. Dakota Robarge hanging in there in second place. Josh Wilson from a big comeback through the course of these in the last 4 disciplines in third. And Tristan Van Beek in a precarious position, fourth place. He shocked everyone with a big win in the springboard to start. Can he hang on through one more discipline? The hot saws coming up. Back in Milwaukee here, Pool A competitions. We kick off these championship days here. STIHL TIMBERSPORTS 2025 National Championships. Pool A is 8 competitors trying for 4 spots in tomorrow's final round, and the competition has been tight. Very tight. We'll show you those point standings here before too long as we have one more discipline left to come, and we throw it down to the floor and Dave Jewett.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be going into the hot saw. You can hear them warming up out back. 8 of the most powerful saws in the world, Dave. One of these saws is a 430cc engine. Some of these saws are 330.
All right, so you see the QR code up on the screen, everybody. Tag us on Instagram with your favorite moments from men's Pool A. I'm telling you, you're going to want to get those cameras out for the hot saw. Some of the best, most extreme pieces of equipment on this planet. But tag us online. And folks, let's hear it for STIHL again up here. We got the t-shirt cannon back rolling again.
There's the point standings as it stands right now. Very, very critical. You got to be in the top 4 if you're going to pass on to the final championship round. And Nate Hodges, easy lead there. Dakota Robarge, second place. Josh Wilson in third. Tristan Van Beek, the rookie, got a shot at making the championships his first go-round. That is very, very special. But he's got to get through this grueling final discipline of the day, the hot saw.
You need to get these points into the wood.
Well, Tommy, Tristan Van Beek is a rookie. There's 2 events that I always look for our rookies. First, the springboard. Mission accomplished by a long shot.
Well done.
The second is the hot saw. Expense, equipment, mechanical failures, nerves, fear. The hot saw is not what I want a rookie to rely on to break a tie with Trevor Beaudry to try to advance to the finals.
Hot saw. For the hot saw, power saws are called into action, and the athletes have a space of 15 centimeters to cut 3 complete discs off a 46 centimeter thick wooden block. Jumping the start or cutting over the line will result in a disqualification.
Heat 1 in the hot saw. Let's bring him out, Tristan Van Beek and Josh Wilson.
All right, standing 3rd and 4th place. Took it to make it into the top 4. That's the whole point of this Pool A competition. Tristan Van Beek in 4th place, going up against 3rd place, Josh Wilson. That's Van Beek in the foreground. There's Josh Wilson, 34 years old from West Virginia. He's been in this position before.
Warm up your
Tristan
saws.
Van Beek, we're ready to learn.
Without a significant error on stand number 2, Josh Wilson, he should be fine to get through the finals. Again, clean cut, solid time, he's fine. Tristan Van Beek right on that bubble. He's had so many exceptional events. I'm nervous for him. I want to see him put this cut together. It is a lot to ask for a rookie to come onto this stage. The lights, the pressure, the saw, the noise. For what it's worth, ladies and gentlemen, Tristan Van Beek is going to just let it fly.
3 cuts inside of 6 inches of wood. Here we go.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Both saws lit. Oh, trouble on the start for Tristan Van Beek. Reels it back in. If he can squeak in that extra cut. If the line is there, that was a tough start. I'll give him that. If he got the cuts in before that line, I don't know that he did, though. Oh, no. Trouble on stand 2 for Josh Wilson. Chris, our judge on stand 2, throwing the flag.
Uh-oh.
I got to be honest, Tommy, I was watching Tristan Van Beek on number 1. Oh, now head judge Rich Hallett is throwing the flag in the fray. So, again, the wording on the ruling is the line cannot be severed. It cannot be cut. So it can be shaved, trimmed, sanded, etc. But a portion, some portion of that line must be visible.
All right, unfortunately, this stand cut the line, DQ. Your cut was good.
Unbelievable. Tristan Van Beek held it together despite a rocky start for cut number 1. Josh Wilson, who I said at the start of the heat, just needs to make a good cut, was unable to do it. Tristan Van Beek, I see exactly what's wrong. Tristan Van Beek, listen to my voice. You need to change that stand on the bottom of your saw. That came up and hit the log and kicked the saw to the side. Or he needs to change how he presents the saw to the log on that first cut. There is just clear video evidence of exactly what went wrong for Tristan Van Beek on cut number 1. Josh Wilson, I got to watch this myself, Tommy. I got to see where it went wrong. Boy, he scrapes the log on the way up. That kind of kicks the saw. He goes in at an angle. It's fat on the bottom. He goes over second cut. Now it's getting big on the top. He's run out of timber. These saws are 60-plus horsepower, and it is like trying to wrestle an alligator. You watch this cut, you think, well, he could just steer it. He could just guide it. It is absolute chaos running these machines.
Come over here. Talk about your experience the first time on the big stage here at the BMO, and then talk briefly about what happened on that first cut in the hot saw. Regardless, you came out guns blazing, you won the Springboard, you stepped up, and you showed everyone that you deserve to be here.
Well, you know, the points kind of went up and down. I was middle of the pack. I knew I had to try to go for it, and not sure what happened on the first one, but cleaned it up, got 3 on the deck, so can't complain.
Talk about what it was like to take a win in the Springboard right away on your debut. What did that feel like standing on that top board?
Oh, it felt awesome. Felt great. That was my fastest time ever, so I'm happy to have done it here. And yeah.
All right. There you go. Big round of applause, Tristan Van Beek. This is a name you're seeing now, a name you'll be seeing years from now. Great job, Tristan.
Well, we're going to answer Tristan Van Beek's question and show you exactly what went wrong. You see as he comes up to the log, that kickstand, jack stand, whatever you want to call it, off the expansion chamber on the bottom of that saw, comes up and makes contact with the end of that log. Kicks the saw kind of cattywampus. He was dangerously close to cutting out on that second cut, his kind of repair cut. He's now in more of an automatic mode, kept it thin, kept it piloting straight, and actually hit his third mark. It is a feat to get 3 discs on the ground in this hot saw event. He essentially got 4 discs on the ground and got it all done in the allotted 6 inches of wood.
Well, Tristan Van Beek posts a time. That means something in the hot saw, believe you me, of 8.01. How competitive that will be, we'll see as we go through there. And what a disappointment for Josh Wilson. Had put himself in position to make the top 4, and that is going to do it for him, that DQ right there.
Things happen with Heat 2 coming up. Dakota Robarge and Trevor Beaudry.
All right, that opens the door for Trevor Beaudry to step right back into the top 4 there. So Trevor Beaudry presented with a great opportunity here, be going up against Dakota Robarge, but it's all about the time and the time to beat. Might be a good idea for Trevor to post a time, and a time that is sub 8.01. Same story for Dakota Robarge.
Yeah, Trevor Beaudry, I hate to say he's going to celebrate the DQ of Josh Wilson, but that certainly opened a window for him. I was watching Beaudry versus Van Beek in that 21-point time coming into the hot saw, and then Josh Wilson's DQ just mixes the pot up completely.
Yeah.
As I was saying, Dave, even the best veteran competitors can just miss something in the hot saw, not locking the throttle, not having the decompression switches at 200-mile-an-hour chain speed.
30 seconds.
Not a lot of time, a lot of these competitors to get out here on stage, get everything set up, do their warm-up. This is the equivalent of a NASA launch protocol to get these saws to fire.
It is a lot of steps.
Hopefully he's ready to go here. We go green.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Beaudry on 2, Robarge on 1. Robarge a little bit slow to the timber. He's got it steered away. Beaudry would look like 3 clean, consistent cuts in about a 6.5 second time.
Great cut by Beaudry. Robarge playing it safe. We'll see. He's very thin on his near side.
Looks like clean cuts for both these competitors. Yep. There was a bit of a double pump for Robarge. The head judge is looking it over just to make sure, but he should be good, I would think.
At a 6 mid 6.
Flags stay in the pocket for both judges.
Both cuts are good.
Official time mid-6s, Trevor. Hey, hold on now. Let's talk about that hot saw. Move to your left a little bit, big guy. Talk about this hot saw. You built this hot saw, but things can happen when you have a carburetor and your shirt. Is this to prevent your shirt from getting sucked in? Talk about that.
Yeah, so where the carburetor sits on the motor, even me, I'm not even that chubby. It can suck your shirt in, and that'll choke it, because how it works is it's basically a pump of air and fuel, and then it blows up and it makes power. So if it sucks your shirt in, it's not sucking in air, and then it's not pulling in fuel from your carburetor, and it stalls the motor, and that's not very good.
You built that saw, correct?
Yeah, I bought the cylinder, but then I've built pretty much everything on it. I 3D modeled and got machined the crankcase, and then designed every other piece of it, other than the pipe. I had a pipe made for it and a bar and chain, but I'm not going to build chains in my basement, so.
All right, congratulations. I know you would have liked today to go a little bit better. I don't believe you're out of it yet. Mathematically, you're still in it. You're in the lead. Not much more to do, buddy. Sit back and watch regardless. Congratulations. What happens? We'll see you again next year if we don't see you Sunday.
Well, I was tied for 4th going in, Dave.
Oh, well, then you're good. You're good. I'm losing track of everybody out there.
Yes, Trevor never hesitates to correct me. Trevor Beaudry fact-checking Dave Jewett on the spot. You gotta love that. Here's a look at that run from Trevor Beaudry with his custom-built hot saw. 3 clean, consistent discs, plenty of real estate, gets the job done. Trevor Beaudry needed that run. He was tied for 4th coming in. Josh Wilson with a disqualification. Trevor Beaudry with an exceptional time. I think he's got himself locked in at this point.
Yeah, very, very good job right there. Look at that time of 6.44. The official time for Trevor Beaudry. I mean, that in a land of lowered expectations because of the challenging wood here. Boy, that's a strong time.
After 3 events, you know the top 4 that are moving on. And today it's hard to keep track because no one's out of the game.
There's that official time. Personal best, in fact, for Trevor Beaudry is 6.44, puts him in 1st place. Van Beek right behind, 8:01. Wally Robarge, and then unfortunately Josh Wilson with the DQ. But 2 more heats left. A lot can happen in the hot saw.
2 heats remaining. Here comes our stage crew, just getting all that sawdust off, making it fair. All the athletes. Here comes our virtual overall leaderboard with 2 heats remaining.
Looks nice on that skyline. Let's hear it for the big stage crew up here.
Well, that's what it's all about right there. You got to be in first, second, third, or fourth to make it onto the championship final, and that's the way it stands with 2 heats left. Nate Hodges on top, Dakota Robarge behind him, closing the gap a little bit, as a matter of fact. But this is a rolling overall right here we're looking at. It's not complete yet. Trevor Beaudry, though, moving himself up into 3rd place. A good time he's put down. That's important to remember. Trevor Van Beek in the 4th spot.
Tommy, it's a rolling overall, as in Nate Hodges is rolling over the entire field.
Right.
He could go out and get a stein of beer here at German Fest and just watch the rest of this event.
Too much math for
Sounds
me.
pretty good.
I think we're looking at the top 4 already. Here we go, heat 3 of the hot saw. I hate math. Let's give it up, Mike Esch and Calvin Willard.
All right, Mike Esch had himself a great day today. Good day. He's got a little ground to make up, but Mike Esch, you know, he's the technician. As you said, Kevin, he can engineer something pretty big time here in the hot saw. We'll see how well he does going up against Calvin Willard.
And Tommy, as a fellow graybeard, along with Mike Esch, I've learned as I age to use the machines. And that's exactly what Mike Esch has done here today.
Warm up your
stock
saws.
saw, and now I think here in a hot saw, watch for him to put on a clinic. Use the machines, Mike.
Yes, they're
Use
labor
the
saving.
machines.
Yes, absolutely. He's going to have to post the best time, though, if he wants to somehow have a shot at the top 4.
And he's in a position to play disruptor too.
Yeah.
Just get up in the points and just muddy it all about.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about the tether. There's a tether.
30 seconds.
These are a direct drive. It's a throwaway handle. If your handle goes into the other athlete's zone, it's a DQ, so there is a tether to keep it within their area. But again, watch the power of Esch's saw. Watch the speed into the log of Calvin on the right.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Calvin Willard first to the wood. Oh, the trouble at the bottom. The chain twists. You see sparks fly on the stage. That Jerry Gingras contribution to that hot saw for Calvin Willard is evident on that stage. What an absolute run. He was so just focused on getting that transition. He may have swiped the chain on the bottom of that block. If not, he came in a little crooked. I'm not sure what all happened. We'll see if Chris keeps his flag in his pocket.
1.1 seconds. No yellow flags flying.
Looks good. No flags flying. Good news for both of these athletes. What a run from Calvin Willard, and what an amazing feat that he kept that chain on the bar and kept the thing through to the finish.
Both cuts are good.
Calvin in 6:06. I'm thinking he's going to be in the high 5s. Calvin, let's talk about what happened on that upcut. You were into the wood. I always think do you time yourself into the wood? Isn't it you're about a 1.1? And then talk about what happened on the transition.
Yeah, just the frame hooked the log a little bit. I like being tight to the log just so you can be over the saw, but you know, you're flirting with that tight clearance between your frame and the log when you do that. So it hung up there for too long.
And just no hesitation. Some athletes will come out the wood. They'll actually give it a light. They call it burping it, just letting off the throttle briefly. Some athletes hold that throttle wide open. To me, it looked like you never let off.
Yeah, it's a race, so you might as well just hold the throttle.
Well, Calvin, thanks. Great job today. We're going to look at this interview. Hopefully you can hang on. I'm going to look at this replay. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can stay here for just a second. And we're going to see what happened. You said you caught your frame. Now watch the speed of Willard. Talk about it.
Willard super quick to the top.
Yeah, so it was a little high over the wood, but hit the wood probably in 1-2, which isn't bad. Out of the wood, and then right there, leaned forward a little too much and hooked the frame.
So it's the frame just above the chain where the chain comes out of the power head. Yeah, you're right, you backed up. And watch this third cut, you're just laying on it. Calvin, some of the athletes get behind the saw and they just let the speed of the saw do the work. Can you actually get over these engines and actually push down without them stalling?
Oh, absolutely. If you can get over the saw, you can put more weight than if you're standing back. But again, you run the risk of being too close to the log, which I think I was on that run.
All right, thanks. Hey, big round of applause coming all the way from Barnett, Vermont. One of the best hot sawyers in the world, Calvin Willard. 1 heat remaining.
Calvin Willard, great job right there. That might hold up and be the top time in the hot saw, 5.95. Trevor Beaudry hanging in there. And 6.44, Mike Esch, 7.26. Tristan Van Beek posted a time. That's important. We'll see if he can hang on there. He's going to need some help probably to stay in that top 4. Then it's Robarge and Wilson in 5th and 6th place with 1 heat remaining in the hot saw. Overall points with 1 heat remaining. Nate Hodges, he's in. Dakota Robarge looking good. Beaudry in 3rd, Van Beek in 4th. After that, Josh Wilson, Mike Esch, Calvin Willard, and Zach Browse coming up in this final heat of the hot saw.
Tommy, Nate Hodges' mantra in this hot saw event is there is no replacement for displacement. He is running the largest displacement motor in the field, over 425 cc's. I think it's actually 430 cc's. Matt Bush, I think, was one of the last ones to really experiment with large displacement motors.
This is the event that propelled him to a world title, to a national title. This is probably the most powerful hot saw in the world. Hodges on the right.
2 impressive personal bests there, a 5.51 for Zach Browse. Always tough in the hot saw. He's going up against the world champion, the US champion, defending champion. Look at that personal best, 4.79.
Warm up your saws.
That's never encouraging when the saw just kind of coughs and dies here in the warm-up period. These competitors had 5 minutes to warm up and tune their saws off the side of the stage. There it goes, coughs to life. A little sigh of relief from Nate Hodges there. There is no recoil on these chainsaws for the folks at home. They are a throwaway starter cord. There's no clutch. It is a direct drive. You have a pulley on one side of the motor that you wrap the starter cord around. Directly behind that pulley is the chain. It is all directly attached to the crankshaft. No clutch, no give, no parts to break.
And this is, I think it's a free run. To him, this is the finals. He's going for a world title in his mind right now. This is going to be him again on Sunday. Watch Hodges on the right. Just going for it. Don't count out Browse.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Hodges super quick away from the wood, super quick to the wood. Trouble for Zach Browse. That saw is not coming up to speed. Look at the time posted for Nate Hodges.
Unbelievable.
4:41 showing as his unofficial time. Zach Browse trying to breathe life into that saw. Does not have throttle, does not have fuel. I don't know what's going on with Zach Browse. Zach Browse gets 3 minutes, I believe. The judges are going to have to correct me if I'm wrong. But this event is not over until Zach Browse. Let's see. I think the judges are walking in to see what Zach says. There it is. There's the flag for Zach Browse. But what a run for Nate Hodges.
Well, we got one today, a world record.
Gentlemen, confirmed. That's a new world record we just saw.
DQ on this stand, did not finish, your cut was good.
Well, Tommy, here in the qualifiers, it's best to post a safe cut. You know, just kind of take your time.
Keep her down the middle.
Keep her down the middle.
I mean,
Don't
crushed it, dude.
Unless.
Come on over here. Ow. Ow, man. I mean, crushed it. This place is a magnet for records. Your debut here, you broke the Springboard national record. You just laid down a hot saw time that every competitor in 30 timber sports countries around the world is watching on the live stream saying, I cannot believe what I just saw. You had the opportunity. You knew where you were in. You knew you were in. You grasped it. Talk about it.
Shoot, Dave, man, there's a long story to talk about. We'll make it short and sweet. Greg Brewer, fastest chains on the planet. I think we just proved that. DC Hot Saws, fastest saws on the planet. I think we just proved that as well. I've got so many people got my back. I've got Komatsu's out here in the crowd supporting me. I mean, and we got a crowd here that probably adds at least 5 horsepower to that saw. I mean, we got an amazing crowd out here. Awesome wood crew. Hell of a job by STIHL, Adam Wolf, the whole crew, the judges. I mean, that feels better than winning the world championship, I'm not gonna lie.
A broken pipe, a broken crankshaft, broken throttle linkage, all fixed relatively at the last second. And you said, I have to learn to become a mechanic if I'm going to win the hot saw.
Yeah, Dave, there's a new slogan. I think we gotta have a shirt. It's broken chains, broken parts, and broken hearts. I said it last year. I think it's cool. It's a true story. Who knows who hearts we're going to break this year, but it's pretty dang cool.
We're going to take a look at the determination on your face right now. Nate, buckle up for the replay. This has never happened before. Look at this, Nate.
Yeah, the old hot saw face. She's one of a kind.
Did you know it was a world record when it came off?
No, but I knew that was the best cut I could make out here.
Looking at it, you had a slight hover over the top. Personally, I think you can go faster. Do you think you can?
Fair enough, probably.
All right. Hey, big round of applause. I think we'll see him in the finals.
Always room for advancement, always looking for those next fractions of a second. A world record run, and already discussion of how it could have been faster. Just a slight hover, a slight hesitation over the top of that log. Yes, there is time there yet to gain, but wow, that saw was absolutely, he credited the chain, he credited the saw, but that man right there with 2 arms in the air, he's the one driving and did an exceptional job here in Milwaukee.
Let's look at those scores. That world record now stands at 4.28 seconds. That is unbelievable. And you say, how could he possibly do better than that? If it was anyone else, you might say it may not ever be broken. But with Nate Hodges, you don't know.
You know, he's talking about T-shirts and slogans. I got one for him. Yeah. 4 flat. 4 flat.
Okay. That may happen. That may happen tomorrow.
It might happen tomorrow.
It could be. Man, my goodness. Nate Hodges there, dominating the field with 44 points. Dakota Robarge, 32, second place. Trevor Beaudry in third place with 27. And Tristan Van Beek, the rookie, started out like a ball of fire with the win. And the Springboard chop hangs in there for the 4th spot. And there he is. Van Beek 4th. Van Beek, Beaudry, Robarge, and Hodges. Some ups and downs for all of our competitors today, but so much athleticism, so much technique. And to top it off with a world record of 4.28 for Nate Hodges. Going to be a hard guy to beat. Kevin Holtz, when Saturday rolls around, or when Sunday rolls around, I should say, and we have our national championship. Competition starts tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time. That'll be Pool B, followed by Pool C, followed by the Women's US Championship. That's all tomorrow, Saturday, from here in Milwaukee.